Okay, good day, beautiful people. Welcome again to another edition of the Relationship Conversation. The deep platform where we discuss this branding issues as they are on here. We don't curtain dress, we don't upgrade, we don't downgrade. We just discuss this branding issues that continue to affect our hearts. And tonight, our conversation, the power of self-love. Okay? Understanding the power okay? Understanding the power of self-love. Okay, so don't do that. So you're just joining us, do us a favor, share the podcast. I'm doing my part, and you can do yours. Excuse me. Understanding the power of self-love. I'm trying to do just that. So if you're just joining us, welcome to the Relationship Conversation. The deep platform where we discuss those branding issues as they are. On here, we don't curtain dress. We don't upgrade. We don't downgrade. We don't tell our conversations to meet the needs of nobody. We don't chase expulsion. We just discuss those branding issues as they are. So tonight, we're going to talk about understanding the power of self-love. Because I believe if a lot of us understood the power of self-love, I believe some of the things that we go through in some of the relationships we find ourselves in will not allow ourselves to go through those things in a relationship. So if you're just joining us on TikTok, welcome. Facebook, welcome. YouTube, Instagram. All right. So, welcome again to another edition. So, let's go straight into our conversation. So do us a favor by sharing the podcast. Please share the podcast so others can benefit from it too as well. Understanding the power of self-love, which is very important and very crucial, because understanding the power of self-love So today we have another interesting conversation. Excuse me if you're just joining us, do us a favor, keep tapping the screen. Yeah, Best of Africa, good to have you on here. Good evening. And you guys just keep tapping the screen till we can get to 1,000 so we can meet our goal. And when we reach our goal, we can start the conversation. And tonight, we want to talk about understanding the power of self-love. And the reason why we chose this topic tonight, because if we understood the power of self-love, most of the things that we experience in our relationships, we won't be experiencing those things in our relationship because self-love will allow us to put ourselves first. Self-love will allow us to prioritize ourselves. Self-love would allow us to put ourselves first in whatever situation we find ourselves in, business, relationship, friendship, and we'll put ourselves first. So it is important for us to understand this, and so based on that, it's the reason why we chose this conversation here tonight. Countdown, I don't know what that means. Alright, so if you're joining us, this is the Relationship Conversation family. We're riding it here. We don't curtain dress, we don't upgrade, we don't downgrade. We don't tailor our conversation to meet the needs of nobody. We don't chase extortion. We don't discuss politics. We don't entertain. We just discuss those brainy issues that continue to affect our heart. And tonight, if you're just joining us, welcome again to the Relationship Conversation. You can join us on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Okay? So let's keep hitting that like button, and if we reach 1,000, then we can get there, because we said that knowledge is power. And we use that, what we usually say, I hear, imagine what you know now. If somebody would have told you what you know now, do you believe you would have gone through what you went through in that relationship? I doubt it. Because you lacked the knowledge, because you lacked the understanding, you got into that relationship totally oblivion to what it was all about. You went in it based on what you feel, okay, or what you felt, or how you feel is what actually drove you into that relationship. And that feelings that you felt, you just thought that that's just what relationship is all about based on that feelings, the butterflies and everything. That's what you thought. Until you got into a relationship and realized there's something way more to that. You see what I'm saying? Because this feeling is just not going to be there every day of my life. So there's something way more to that relationship. So you grab that concept and you have a whole different understanding. But it was not easy for you to get to that level. All right? There was some shifting, and there was an understanding, there was some fighting and confusion and stuff like that, until you came to the realization that is now all that butterfly. Okay? So it is important for us to have this conversation, because if we have this conversation, we can learn. And when we learn now, we have the ability to be able to understand and navigate our way through whatever relationship we're going to find ourselves in. The moment you find yourself and you see something familiar with what you have learned, you can now make reference to what you know based on what you're seeing or what you're experiencing. And you can now tell yourself that, you know what? Even though I love you, but I love me more. So you realize that the disrespect and the physical and mental abuse that we go through in a lot of relationships, you won't go through those things if you only understood who you are. And that's the whole purpose of this conversation, because if we can understand this thing for what it is, I'm of the strong conviction when we get into a relationship, we are now going to make sure that relationship is not going to be above us. We're going to be a part of it, and because it's a part of it, we're going to play our part in that relationship. And we're not going to get into the relationship with the purpose of wanting to take over the relationship or actually control the relationship. Instead, we're now going to get into a relationship understanding that you have a role to play and the next person have a role to play. Yes, do you have any contribution to make to this podcast? Hello? Do you have a contribution to make to this podcast? Yeah, sorry about that. You know, they got these guys on here just. All right. The crazy guys just going around here sitting doing all that kind of stuff, looking for games to play. Because I guess they don't have anything to do anyway. So, keep tapping the screen and let's reach our goal. I ain't got time for the children play. I'm too grown for that. I'm here trying to share knowledge with people who going through real-time experiences. You see what I'm saying? That's the whole essence of this podcast. We don't entertain here. We don't. This is not a place for kids. It's for people who experiencing real life. That's the whole purpose of this podcast. People who experiencing real life. We don't play games, because you don't play games with people's heart. Real people experience real pain. All right. So since we have reached our target, it doesn't mean that we should stop. The more you like, the more people going to come on, and the more we're able to share our experiences with them. And keep sharing the podcast. You got your brother, your sister, your uncle, whoever it is, your friend, that person at job, share it with them. They could benefit something from it. All right? Because as we stated, the purpose of this podcast is for us to share our past experiences. And we all have the ability to share our experiences. So you come over here, you got anything to say, just come over here. This is an interactive forum. Don't just sit there and just watch the podcast. No, be a part of it. If you want to come on, just let me know. Just tell me you got something, you want to make a contribution. Let me know. We can bring you on and you participate. Because who knows, your past experiences or your opinion about the subject matter could help somebody. That's the whole thing. We're just one big family. And it's called what? The human race. That's all we are. So let's go through our conversation here tonight, okay? And what we want to talk about here tonight, we want to talk about understanding the power of self-love. So what we mean by that? When you get to understand the power of self-love, because that relationship that you talk about, that you want to get into, that marriage that you're hoping to be a part of, it all stems from one place. Understanding who you are. Being true to yourself. Understanding your values. Understanding your purpose. And setting the boundaries and setting the standards for your life. But there's no way you can do these things in the absence of understanding the power that you possess. Understanding the power. Yes, I already done that. In understanding the power of self-love. Because everything we talk about, the true love that you talk about, and this one love, everybody keep on talking about love, 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 love. For all of you guys who just coming in, I want you to, based on the way you think love is, I want you to just post in the comment what you think love is. Okay? Because I think that what actually hurt us the most in relationship is the way we understand love to be. I think if we have a whole different perspective of what love is, I believe we will approach love from a different perspective. But because a lot of us don't understand it. A lot of us don't understand it. So based on our understanding, we go in there and do things based on our understanding. And when we finally get into it based on how we understood it to be, or how we understand it to be, then we actually meet up with the roadblock ahead of us. And those things are the things that actually continue to affect us in a relationship. So we don't learn. We got into another relationship, we'll do the same thing. We got into another relationship doing the same thing. Failing to realize that you will never find what you're looking for in the arms of another human being. You would never. Some people in their 50s and they never experienced true love. Some people have been searching for true love all their years. And they never came across it. Because true love never existed anywhere else. It never did. It never will. So in order for you to understand and experience this true love that we all talk about. Okay? Thank you. In order for us to understand, guys, please keep tapping the screen, okay? That's your own contribution to the show, to the podcast. Just keep tapping the screen, all right? So, what we need to do here is this. The first thing that you need to do, since you understand that you're not a virgin, you've been in a relationship and you had experiences and you went through a lot in the relationship. That was your learning process. Don't continue learning. Don't continue allowing yourself to continue to be hurt. All right? That should be a place where you need to stop and to understand what is going on. And when you stop to understand what's going on in your life, then you come to a place to understand that what's happening is all happening because of you. Too many times we actually shift our blame to other people. Too many times we get into a relationship and we relinquish our power and responsibility to other people. There's too much power that we give to other people that will hurt us, hurt us so much in relationship. Because you meet someone and you value that person more than you. And all these things is happening is not because of that person. It's because of you. That person is not doing anything. You are the one that creating. Only you can value someone above you. Only you can create in your mind and tell yourself that this person is more valuable than you. Only you can do that. Nobody else has the power. Nobody else has the power. Like you see from me, it doesn't matter who you are. You can be a president, you can be a pope, you can be whoever. I never bow down to no man. I never bow down to no man. And I will never bow down to no man. If you're a leader, whoever it is, I can shake your hand. But I'll never bow down to you. And what am I saying this? We get into a relationship and we start to create so much feelings for this person until we can do anything for this person to be in our lives. You would do everything and anything to have this person in your life. But then when things go wrong, then you want to blame the person. Let me say something to us tonight. You know, when people talk about soft life, say I'm just living a soft life. That's what relationship was meant to be, a soft life. Relationship was meant to be peaceful, experience, sharing love, sharing happiness, sharing joy, sharing your peace. That's all what it is. That's what love is all about. But somewhere down the road, we complicate everything because of the way we understand love to be. So we get into this relationship with people. And one of the things too that actually affect us a lot in the relationship, most of the time we want to compare our relationship based on the relationship or the experiences that we have with other people. Or maybe what we see, or maybe what we saw, or maybe what we saw in the movies, or what we read in a novel, or how we saw celebrities living their lives, and you want to bring that into your relationship. No. Everybody relationship operates differently. So the very essence of being in a relationship is not to compare your relationship with anybody else, but to get into a relationship and understand that person and build a relationship with that person. And your relationship with that person could be so unique that person relationship that you actually worship or you look up to or you admire so much could be your relationship as well. Why can't you look at yourself to be unique, that you can build something so unique that people will actually aspire to, or people want to subscribe to, people want to adapt to that model? Why can't you do that? Why there should be so much pressure in our relationship? Why? And let me just say here tonight, if you honestly want to be in a relationship with someone and experience what relationship is about, you will have to be vulnerable. You will have to make yourself vulnerable in order for you to experience what true love is about. You can't get into a relationship and trying to compare your man with the experiences with all the guys that you met. You can get into a relationship and trying to experience and trying to compare your woman with all the other women that you experienced, that you had experiences with. She's not them, and he's not him. We just need to get into a relationship and be able to love each other. Get into a relationship and be able to share our love with those people. That's it. Stop doing the comparison. There are too many things that we have to do cross-reference with. You've been in a relationship with 4 guys or 5 guys. The one you with now, he make it 6. So you got to do cross-references with all those guys. And you got this brother just trying to love you. He's not trying to hurt you. He's not your ex. He's just trying to love you. Give him the opportunity to even love you. You don't even take time to even get to know him. You judge him without even knowing him. So he doesn't even stand a day with you. Everybody different. So when we get into a relationship, the very essence of relationship is for us, the first thing we need to do is to come to a conclusion to understand who this person is. Get to know them for who they are and accept them for who they are. So whenever you see them, you can recognize them for who they are. But stop doing cross-references. Stop digging up your past. Whatever happened in your past was meant to be in your past. Stop reliving your past in your future. We got too many memories that we want to compare. So you realize a lot of us will get into a relationship over the period of time. We just get bored and frustrated because you actually compare him with all those other men. And you think that something out there is way better. You think you're not getting anything. Because maybe that relationship, maybe you got that guy, he was so loving and caring and so on and so forth. But in bed, he was not good and you left him. Maybe you met another one, he was good in bed and everything, but he was disrespectful. You met another one, he was good in bed, he was everything, but then he never wanted to work. He was a gigolo. So now you want to take that good part from him and distract the bad part. And you want to attach it to this guy. You meet another guy who was good and bad, but never had a job. You want to take that part and you attach it to him. You want to take that part and attach it to him. People in today's society do not even know what love is. I totally agree with that. And that's what actually hurting us a lot in relationship, because we didn't even know what love is. That's the same thing I just said. Because if we actually had an understanding, a true understanding of what love is, I believe it would help to change the narrative of how we look at relationship. It would change the narrative of relationship. It would change the way we experience relationship. It would change the way we go about things in relationship. It would be a whole game changer. The way we understand relationship, that how we get into a relationship. And that's the reason why a lot of us walk out of this relationship being a victim. Because of your mindset. A lot of us don't understand what love is. Some people have been in 5, 6, 7, 20 relationships looking for love. And they never found it. When will you ever stop in your track and ask yourself, then what is it? What is this thing? I'm just looking for it and I can't find it. I've been through this relationship. I've been through that relationship. I went through this relationship and you never find it. Because you will never find it. Because it's not out there. The one place that you're supposed to look for, the thing you're looking for, you don't even look there. You overlook it. Exactly. But it's even vice versa. How can a woman who don't love herself say she want to experience love? How can you experience love? So you get into a relationship at the mercy of somebody else, expecting something from someone else. Because you know when you're expecting something from someone, you become a slave to that person. Because you're operating on that person's time. When that person, they call the shots. They say when, they say how, they say who. But imagine if you had an understanding of what love is, you would not be running behind someone. You will not be doing the things that you're doing. You will not allow yourself to go through the things you're going through. You will not be making the sacrifices you're making in this relationship, all in the name of love. You will not become a slave to this love. You will not allow yourself to go through the mental and physical abuse, all in the name of love. You will not be doing that. But because of the lack of understanding what love is, you go through all this disappointment and you walk around here and masquerading around here like someone broke your heart. On this podcast here, I said here that nobody breaks your heart. Oh, and one lady came on here. Oh, she raged. And I just sat over here. She was there for like 45 minutes. Almost 45 minutes, just talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. So I gave her a chance when she got done. I said, ma'am, can I speak now? And I said, are you saying it based out of what you know? Or are you saying it based on what you feel? Because everything you just said is just personal. You bring your own personal experiences into this conversation. And I went on to tell her, I said, everything that you just explained about that guy in a relationship, even though I don't like to have a conversation based on one person explanation. But for the conversation's sake, okay, she said self-love and self-awareness are prerequisite for experiencing love. You are doing fantastic. Keep it up. All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Guys, please keep tapping the screen with just the 6K. Keep tapping the screen, all right? That's your contribution. All right, the information is free, so the least you can do is you just power tap the screen and let's because the thing is that the more you tap the screen, the more TikTok realize that they like it. Like you see when the moment you guys reach 1.1K, TikTok sent me a message to say that they're not going to share the podcast with others. So the more you tap it and you reach a certain or likes, TikTok will not share the podcast. That's just what it is. All right. So a lot of us, what we experience in our relationship is because a lot of us don't understand that this whole thing about relationship and this whole thing about love and sacrificing and doing all these things and all the things that you say love is. Love is not. Everything that people said over here. And that lady came over here and she said all she had to say to me. So I asked her the question. So I said, you in your own mind, what is love? What do you think love is? And she said everything love was other than what love was or what love is. And this is what hurt us in relationship. Our ignorance. Our ignorance. Only if she would have just waited to just hear me out and hear what I'm about to say, she would have had a whole understanding of what it's all about. So when I went on to explain, though I told her, I said, this is what affects a lot of our sisters. Most of our sisters don't really listen with comprehension. They only listen to respond. They allow their feelings and the emotions to get into a conversation. Take your feelings out of it. Take your emotion out of it. Let's deal with the conversation. That's a topic. Let's deal with the topic that's going on here. I stated here. You don't have to come over here and say what you're saying is lie. That's not true. And lie and this and that. People's heart can be broken. So I asked the question. I said, I want you to understand. Your heart, first of all, your heart is not something that can break. Your heart is not breakable. So when you say someone broke your heart, in which context are you speaking of when you say someone break your heart? So then I asked her the question. I said, the relationship that you were in with that guy, did he body slam you? Did he force you in a relationship? No. So the love that you're talking about, was this guy the one creating a love inside of you for him, or you were the one creating the love inside of you for him? Who's doing that? Did this guy take you to the hospital and it did an operation on you, or they took something and put it inside your head, or they took something and put it inside your heart to make you to feel the way you feel? Or did he cast a magical spell on you? I just want us to understand this thing. Or was it voodoo? Okay? That happens to you when you and this guy was in that relationship. None of the above. So that means there's no way that man was capable enough of breaking your heart. There was no way that he was capable enough of breaking your heart. The only person that broke your heart, in order based on the words that you were using, you were the reason why your heart got broken. You were the reason why your heart got shattered. He was not the reason. He never did anything to you. And she never did anything to you. Well, man, oh, she broke my heart and she stole. Nobody did nothing to you. People need to understand with this whole thing with relationship. Okay? That's the reason why we say here, the purpose of the conversation here tonight is understanding the power of self-love. You must first of all understand the power of self-love. Because when you understand the power of self-love, then when you get into a relationship, you will have a different understanding of what love is. And you will not leave a relationship with the mindset of somebody doing this to you and someone doing that to you. Because you know what? You will get to a place in your life and understand that this is not in alignment with me. So what you would do, you're not going to allow yourself to go through what you're going through. You will not be able to excuse yourself from the situation because you got something to protect. You're not going to be such a goody-goody all because you want to be in a relationship. You realize that you come first. So because you come first, you're going to put you first. You're not going to sacrifice your mental sanity all because you want to be in a relationship with a man. You're not going to start having kids all because you want to tie that man down. No. Because you want this particular relationship to work. Because everything about this man just fits your boyfriend material. Everything about this woman just fits your boyfriend material based on what you see, not what you know. That's the reason why we talk about understanding the power of self-love. Understanding the power of self-love makes you to understand the value that you possess. Understanding the power of self-love makes you to understand that you come first. Understanding the power of self-love makes you to put yourself first before anybody else. Understanding the power of self-love will make you to get into a relationship and understanding that nobody possessed the power that you possessed. Everything that happens in that relationship happens because you want it to happen. That's what self-love does. Self-love is not going to make you to think that something magical is taking place. No. Self-love is going to make you to be in tune with yourself so you can have an understanding of how things work when it comes to relationship. Self-love will make you to set boundaries for yourself. Self-love will give you the ability to set standards for yourself. That you're not going to go above anything. You're not going to sacrifice anything because you want to be with someone else. Self-love will make you to understand that you don't have to get in relationship to experience love. You don't have to get in relationship to be loved. Self-love will make you to understand that. But because a lot of us have not come to that place to even love us for who we are. A lot of us have not come to a place to understand who we are and accept us for who we are. Ask yourself this question tonight. You looking for true love. You running here in the arms, looking in the arms of another man for true love. Look in the arms of another woman for true love. Ask yourself, look at yourself and be honest with yourself. Can you date you? If you were you, can you date you? If you saw yourself in another woman, will you be able to date that woman? If you saw yourself in another man, will you be able to date that man? That's a question you need to ask yourself. A lot of you, if you're a woman and you saw yourself in a man, you would never date that man. You will not be able to date you, right? But then you want somebody's son to date you the way you are. But you want someone's daughter to date you as you are. You see the kind of double standard that was happening to us in relationship. Guys, keep tapping the screen. Please keep tapping the screen. This is an interactive conversation. We don't just sit there to just listen. Be a part of the conversation. In your own way of contributing, if you don't want to come on here live, just keep tapping the screen and share the podcast. Somebody somewhere could benefit from it. So when you understand the power of self-love, there's a lot of things that you go through in relationship you will not go through in it. Some of the stupid things that you do in relationship and you call it love, you will not be doing that. Because most of the stupid things that we do is what really hurt us in relationship. The stupid things that we do in relationship that we think is love is what actually hurt us in relationship. Because we do these things out of ignorance, we do these things out of stupidity, all in the name of love. Because of the stupid concept that we think that love is. So you get into love, into relationship with that kind of stupid mindset. You would do everything to hurt yourself, thinking that what you're doing is right. Thinking that what you're doing is love. Because you don't know. Because if you actually knew some of the stupid things that you did, you won't have done it. The people walking around and talking about heartbreak, you will never get to the place of heartbreak. You will never get to that place of heartbreak because nobody have the power to break your heart. But because you don't know, so you get into a relationship and start to do stupid thing in a relationship that leads to you calling yourself saying someone broke your heart. Nobody broke your heart. So you need now to step out of that mentality, telling yourself that someone broke your heart. Nobody did. Step out of the mentality telling yourself that you're a victim of that relationship. Nobody, you're not a victim. Don't walk out of a relationship and thinking that you're a victim. You're not a victim. You're not a victim. The only thing that you can talk about in a relationship, if a man physically put his hands on you, yes. But if he doesn't physically put his hands on you, every other thing happening in that relationship, you are making it happen because you had the choice to walk out of that because your mental sanity is more important than being in a relationship with another human being. My philosophy is it's better for you to be alone and be happy than to be with someone else and to be unhappy. But nobody wants to be single. Nobody wants to be single. People will put on the profile, complicated. What the hell is complicated? A complicated relationship. What the hell is this? There are two things, in a relationship, not in a relationship. Simple. Are you in a relationship? It's complicated. What is complicated? There's no such thing as no complicated. Just the mere fact that you can realize that it's complicated, then why are you even in there to begin with? These things happen because of our mindset. Because nobody wants to be alone. Nobody wants to be alone. So people will allow themselves to go through all these things in relationship because they don't want to be alone. Some of them they will allow themselves to be subjected to hardship. All because they want to be in a relationship. Why? All because of this thing called love. And what is love? If you even ask them what love is, they don't know it. They will start explaining all kind of nonsense about love. And because of the stupid thing that they talk about love is what actually affect them so much. Affect us so much because of our mentality. The stupid mentality that we have about love. People will explain love outside of themselves. People just think that love is this thing, is the magical things that just, you experience. Please. Love is nothing magical that you experience. Nothing magical that you experience when it comes to love. Nothing. You can come back here and challenge me anytime you want. You can go through all the relationship that you want. You can date all the nationality in the world. You will never experience true love. You will never experience true love. You can date all the nationality. You will not experience it. Some of you guys have been in a relationship, 5, 6, 7 relationship. You never experienced it. You break up with all. Guys, please keep tapping the screen. You can contribute to the podcast by tapping the screen. That's the best you can do. Just keep tapping the screen. That's all you can do. And if you want to make your contribution, this is an interactive podcast. All right. You don't have to just be there and watch. You can come on up here and just monitor and make your contributions. Through that, somebody else somewhere could benefit from what you have to share. Yeah, we just share. Okay. We want family. So that's the least you can do. Just keep tapping the screen. Keep coming with the likes. At least let's push this thing to 10K. If we get to 10K, we'll get more people, because the more you like the podcast, the more TikTok will be able to share it. You know, these kind of information going at, you really don't get. All right. Thank you for sharing the live. I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing the live. Okay. So if you ever want them to be here, come on here and let's share it. Let's share it here. If you got something to say, just let me know. I can send the invite and I'll bring you up here. Okay. Excuse me. I want you to understand that whenever you find yourself in a relationship, everything that happened in that relationship, you are making it to happen. You are the one making it to happen. God gave you something so powerful. Okay? God gave you something so powerful. And what God gave you is the power to create. Where someone can talk about fantasize. Where you can sit and just fantasize on something. It's you creating something in your mind. That's what's happening. That's the same power that you bring to a relationship. You come into a relationship with that same power. You meet someone and you have the ability to create a life around that person. That's it. That's all that happens. There's nothing magical that takes place. You're the one, the power that you possess. And most of the time we get hurt in relationship, not understanding that we are the one that created that feeling that we go through. You're the one that doing it. It's all happening with you. I'm the one, you see, on this podcast, we put you in charge. And on this podcast here, if you don't have the guts and the heart for the hard truth, don't come here. Because here we don't entertain, we don't curtain dress. We tell you that you are responsible. And we put you in a position for you to look at relationship from a whole different perspective. Everything that happened in that relationship, you were the one that done it. The man met you, he told you he liked you, and so on and so forth. You were the one start creating in your mind. Everything is based on you. Everything that you need in this world is inside of you. Everything that you need. Everything that we want, that means it is outside of us. Everything that we need is inside of us. I hope you guys grab this concept. Let me repeat. Everything that you need is what you have. Everything that you want is what is outside of you. That's where you either need somebody or somebody to get it, to actually get it. But everything that you need is inside of you. So what do you need? You need love. You need peace. You need happiness. You need joy. And all these things I just named. These things I just named does not exist outside of you, but inside of you. So just the way you're going up to that man and looking up to him for him to love you, it's the same way he comes in a relationship with you now, looking up to you to share you with him. So now that's the reason why you see what God did. He shared the responsibilities. The responsibility is simple. God said to a man, love your wife as Christ loved your church. And that's the reason why you see when the feminists come up with these, talk about summation. The other day I talked about summation, and a lady came over here and she said, everything that you said, I got a problem with the word summation. So I asked her, when you say summation, what that even means. When you say summation, what that even means. You know, people can just take things and just run with it. You see what I'm saying? People can take words and run with it without understanding what it is. Some people approach things based on the emotions and their feelings. Sometimes when you take your feelings and your emotion out of it, you can see the things for what it is. So she came over here. I said, "What? When you say submission, what that even means?" So when she answered the question, I said, "So do you know by just the fact that you answered my question, you just submitted to me?" That's submission right there. But because you have this negative mentality, so you attack your negative mentality onto submission. God never made no mistakes when he talked about submission. The same thing God told a woman, that the same thing God told a man, but two different words with the same meaning. The same meaning, two different words when it comes to submission. God told the man to love his wife as Christ loved the church, right? The same God went and told the woman to submit to her husband. I want to ask you a question. This is an interactive conversation. If you think I'm wrong, just post your comment and let's read it. All right. And if you want us to debate the conversation, come up. Then we can do it together. Right. I want to ask the question. I want you guys to answer me. Is summation, that's a difference between love and summation? Guys, you guys in the comment section, please answer this question. Is there a difference between love and submission? I'll wait. If you're part of the podcast, I'll wait for your comment. Is there a difference between love and submission? I'm waiting for you guys though. Facebook, it's a question going to you guys. Is there a difference between love and submission? Now, the thing is that don't be afraid. Answer the question based on how you think. That's your understanding. That's your perception of it. Okay? You're never wrong. Nobody wrong and nobody right. Your perception about it is how you think about it. Okay, thank you. Now you see, Sophia just answered the question. So imagine if we understood this to be the same. Imagine, do you think we will have the problem we experience in a relationship? We never have the problem in a relationship. No, who think I'm not going to submit to no man? I'm not going to do that. And people do these things out of ignorance and stupidity. So she on the podcast and she talking and talking. I'm just sitting and listening to her. So I asked the question, is there a difference between submit and love? And she said, oh yeah, there's a big difference. I said, so can you love without submitting? Can you submit without love? There's no way you can implement the two without love. There's no way the two of them can be implemented without love. Because of love, you are able to submit. And because you can submit, that's because you love. That's all it is. So God told a man to submit to his wife. God told the woman to submit to her husband. That's just all it is, but two different words. God said, love your wife as Christ loved the church. God told the woman to submit to her husband. What is submission? Because God told the man, when God told the man to do something, he's supposed to give that. He shouldn't receive it. He's supposed to be giving it. Okay? So that two things God did. In order for the relationship to work, one person have to be able to receive, the next person receive. As you receive, the next person receive. Then the wheel goes in motion. The relationship goes in motion. Thank you for the gift, Sophia. Appreciate it. Now the wheel goes in motion. Okay? Now, God gave the man the first responsibility. So love. So the moment he loves her, she received the love, decode the love, and gave it to him as respect. Because when she gave him love, then she going against the original plan because he doesn't know what to do with love because he was not made to receive love. He was made to give love. You see the difference? Guys, keep tapping the screen. I know the conversation getting interesting. You don't want to touch the screen. Keep tapping the screen. Just as you enjoying it, somebody else somewhere needs to hear it. How do you submit to someone who continue to lie and cheat? They manipulate you. That's not what the conversation is, Rosie. Because you see, a lot of us, we can only deal with the situation based on our experiences. So let's just look at it, Rosie, to answer your question. Before you got into that relationship, was this thing that you just explained, was it part of it? Because for me, I always love to start from the root cause. Before you got into the relationship, Rosie, no, it's okay. It's a conversation. Rosie, to be honest with you, before you got into that relationship, was this guy in a relationship being manipulative? Was he being a liar to you? Was he being a cheater to you before you got into a relationship? I bet not. Because if that was the case, then that would have been the reason why you were not going to get into a relationship. So then let's ask the question now. What actually led to what actually happened in a relationship? A lot of us don't understand some of these things. Because most of us, we never explain, because a lot of us take ourselves outside of the equation when it comes to situation. A lot of us, we don't look at ourselves and see where we went wrong. What did we do in that relationship? What actually happened for the manipulation to come in, for the lies to take place, for the cheating to take place? Let's understand something. Is something missing in this relationship? Did something happen? Because if we got into a relationship and nothing like that were actually happening in a relationship, then how come all of a sudden these things start happening in a relationship? Something not right, isn't it? Let's just be logical in our thinking. Sometimes we need to take our feelings outside of the situation and deal with it and look at it from a logical standpoint. Because if these things were there from the onset of the relationship, that would have been a red flag for us getting into this relationship. So how come now all of a sudden the guy, he being called these names, he manipulative? Exactly. So a lot of us don't understand something too. Because you see, based on the way we understand we love is how we get into a relationship. So some of these things that we talk about, some of these things we experience in our relationship, because you see, they got different kind of relationship. And I can honestly tell you, 90% of the relationship that we get into, which of course lead to failure, is transactional relationship. Transactional relationship is what actually leads to failure. So we say 98% of the relationship that we enter in between a man and a woman is based on transaction. You do this, I do that. You do this, and I do that. Transactional relationship. So I put in, then I expect. You do the one, and I expect. They don't understand that's not what relationship is about. Relationship is about, that's the reason we're talking about self-love. Relationship is when you come to a consciousness of understanding who you are, how much love you have for yourself, how much peace that you have for yourself, how much joy you have within you. Then you now tell yourself, I need to find another human being to share this with. So you're not giving. That's what we need to understand in relationship. You get into a relationship with the mentality that you're supposed to give. Whenever you give, you expect. Whenever you share, it's coming from a place of abundance. Because you love you, you were able to love someone. Because you don't love you, now you're looking up to someone to love you. So what happened? Because you don't love you, so you're making all the necessary sacrifices because you want that person to love you. That's all that's happening. Then we want to blame other people. They are not responsible. If you walk into a relationship with the sole purpose of giving in that relationship, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because when you give and you don't expect, because whenever you give, your expectation becomes higher. Whenever you share, there's no expectation in sharing. Because I got a lot to where I come from. I got one car, and I take the one car and give it to my girlfriend. And I started complaining. Well, I did it out of love, so I had to make a sacrifice for her. At the detriment of your own happiness? You see that love? You see some of the stupid things that we do and we say is love? Some of the stupid things that we do, we say is love. We call that love. You got one car. That's the car you use to go to work. But you take that car and you give it to your boyfriend. You take your one car that you got to go to work. You take it and give it to your girlfriend. No, to other people, that's love. That's to people that think that what love is. That the mentality. That's the reason why people walk out of relationship. People leave relationship being so hurt and bitter and angry and take those hurt and frustration to one relationship to another relationship, from one relationship to another relationship, and they continue doing the same stupid and continue to go through the same stupid cycle over and over and again, and all they're telling themselves love. Until at the end of the day, they get to the place and become so weary and they tell themselves, I don't believe in love no more. I don't want to be in love no more. Stay saying stupidness. Stay being hurt and still saying stupidness out of hurt. Because they don't even know what love is. Because if you knew what love is, some of the stupid things that we say, you won't even say that. If someone knew what love is, they won't even tell themselves they don't believe in love. Because you don't even know what love is. And what hurt us the most. That's the reason why you are able to sacrifice your happiness, because you want someone to love you. You will sacrifice your happiness because you want to be in the arms of that man. You will sacrifice your mental sanity because you want to be in the arms of that woman. You will sacrifice yourself at the detriment of your happiness because you want to be in the arms of someone else. Then you say that love, that experience you say is love. That's not love. That's stupidness. That's not love. Love never allowed you to go to that extreme. What made people to go to that extreme? People need to understand this. What make you to go to the extreme is lasciviousness or infatuation. It's what make people to go to that extreme. Until you go to that extreme, until you will idolize that person. It's like you worshiping that person as a god. How can that be love? How can you say that is love? I love you so much that I can die for you. Like, seriously? Huh. There's a difference between love and lust. That's not love. The first thing when you understand what love is, you will realize that you come first. When you understand what love is, you will get to understand you have to protect you. When you understand what love is, when you get into a relationship with someone, you realize that you're not getting into that relationship because you want something from them. You get into that relationship because you got something to share. That's where you get to understand true love. Because that's all true love is. So all the nonsense you be telling yourself, you'll never experience true love. That's the reason why you will continue jumping from one relationship to another relationship, from one relationship to another relationship, and you keep telling yourself heartbreak. You will continue going through disappointment. You will continue going through all these stuff because you're not playing your role in the relationship. You're not even being you. You get into the relationship and you're just working yourself out. You're just overworked and just working and working for what? And especially you're a woman. Especially women. Women. You get into a relationship with a man. The next thing you want to do is to take on the leadership of the relationship. Let you own the relationship. Let you supposed to control the relationship. Who told you that? I don't even know where women even grab that concept from. That's the reason why when they walk out of the relationship, they're so bitter and angry and blaming everybody else for hurting themselves. You get into the relationship with a man. And the next thing you want to do is to shoulder the responsibility of the relationship. So let's just talk about that before I leave. Guys, it's getting hot. Let me turn this thing up a little bit. The air conditioning. Okay. Let's just have that conversation tonight. We wanted to talk about it tonight, but let's just have a gyps of it. We're going to discuss it on Monday. Okay? What really hurt us in relationship the most? Especially, let's just look at it from a woman's standpoint. As I stated here. It doesn't matter what a woman do in a relationship. If that man don't want that relationship, it's not going to work. So, why am I saying this? I'm saying this so that a lot of women can understand that there's nothing that you can do. If that man don't want to be in that relationship, there's nothing you can do. Because the reason why I'm trying to grab this concept so our sisters and our mothers and our aunts can understand that the things that we do in relationship, the sacrifices that you make in a relationship, you should not be making it. Not at all. You shouldn't be doing the things that you're doing, the extra things you do in a relationship. No. Hey, sweetheart, what's up? Let me bring you on here so you can make your contribution. All right? So we got you. I got to bring some ladies over here. Let me bring, I just sent in some random, and if you guys can just make your contribution. Rose, I need you to come over here. I need a guy to come over here. I just randomly picking you guys. Okay. So, welcome. And, she said, oh, God. Mazrini, she said, God is love. He is jealous. God, you cannot love someone more than you love God. All right. Okay. So, it's good to have you on here. So, you make your contribution here tonight. We're talking about self-love, understanding the power of self-love. Right after she make her introduction and make her contribution, and we'll go straight into the conversation, okay? So go ahead, just talk about what you understand about self-love, what the importance of self-love. Somebody over here want to come on. Let me bring her here. So go ahead.
First of all, I would say good morning from my side because it's already after 12.
Okay, good. Good morning.
And good morning and good evening from to our listeners tonight. It's still daytime on your end. Well, I think we're already in the next day. From what I understand about self-love, I think self-love is loving yourself in every way possible. In my opinion, because I feel like when you love yourself, you take care of yourself, you put yourself first, you'll be able to take care of what's around you. So that's why I believe self-love is just loving yourself unconditionally.
All right, thank you for that. And our sister, Mazrini.
Yeah, I'm here.
Make your contribution. So, what's your contribution on self-love and how you think self-love can actually make an impact on our relationships?
I think for most women, when I heard you, because I came on the show late, but when I heard you talk about self-love is taking care of yourself, getting to know yourself first and foremost. For me, I'm a Christian, and as you can see, as I'm putting in the chat, so this is for me and for those who are Christian in their personal relationship with God. For me, I think my relationship and my confidence changed when I started focusing just on God and how to love myself, how to date properly, how to put me first in any situation so I'm not being taken advantage of. And to some people, that's a selfish thing, but it's not. Because when you know God and you trust His will for your life, you're able to go on a date with someone. You can tell right away whether that person is for you or not, and you're able to walk away. You're able to start dating someone and say, this relationship is not for me. I know who I am. I know what I want. I know what God said is for me. And you're able to determine what is it that you want. When your mind is clouded and you haven't taken time to get to know yourself, that's when you see women or a man chasing And when I say chasing, they overdoing it. They're calling you. They want to know your whereabouts. There's no space to grow. There's no elevation to the relationship. There's nothing of substance that you're bringing. It's just like, focus on me. You're just in that selfish place where it's like me. And you're not taking the time out to say, why do I need this person validation to want me? What is it that I don't see in myself that I'm pushing them to do? So I think knowing yourself really plays a huge part about self-love, because when you know yourself, and it allows you to know what you want. And I think for me, one of the things that helped me prior to getting married was on my spiritual journey. I took time off to be by myself. I took time to go to church. Even when other people were married, enjoying that lifestyle, I applauded them, but I knew it wasn't time yet. I knew God hasn't worked on my heart yet. I knew I was still broken in some places, and I needed to grow, and I was just being honest with myself. And as I grew, I think it helped me to determine what I wanted. Before I even went out with my husband, I went on several dates, and when I sat down, I ate. I had a great time. It was great. But when I left from there, I told the person or whoever I said, hey, the date was nice. I think you're someone who can be my friend. You have a lot of great attributes. But in terms of relationship, you're not who I know I pray for, who I know God says would be my person. And I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want you to waste mine. So I think knowing yourself in that way really helps, So, yeah.
Okay, thank you thank you for your contribution. You're actually, you just nail it. Now, let's just look at it in a way whereas, you're not a believer. All right? Let's assume you're not a believer. You're still part of everything that's going on. Because even if you're not a believer, everything that inside of you to maintain and sustain a relationship is inside of you. God never left you out. He gave you everything. Because he said, we are the children of God. So your belief does not exclude you from experiencing God love. It does not exclude you from experiencing God love and God purpose for you, because he said, I have a plan and a purpose for you, and my plan is for you to prosper and not to harm you. Okay? So God plans is for everybody, all God's children. But you see what you just said, in the absence of understanding who you are, then you just don't know what you want. Because if you don't understand and you don't know who you are, like people who you go and ask them, what you want, and they say, I don't know. That's just how people get into a relationship. A lot of us get into a relationship. Can none of you guys relate to that? Yes. Getting into a relationship and like someone asks you a question, what is it you want? You're like, I don't know. So if you don't know, then how is it you know what you want? That's the same thing that happened with a lot of us. We get into a relationship not knowing who we are, and because we don't know who we are, we don't understand our values. And because we don't understand our values, then there is no standard being placed on us. That's the reason why most of us get into relationship out of desperation. Some of us get into relationship, we just settle. Some of us get into a relationship because you don't even believe you. If you believe you will not subscribe to relationship based on what people think or what people feel. You will get into a relationship that is in alignment with your purpose. That's the importance of self-love. Coming to the place to understand what it's all about. Get to value you. Because when you value you, you will never value anybody above you. All these things that will walk out of relationship with all these heartbreaks and making all these ultimate sacrifices for these people at the detriment of our own happiness. You doing it because you value that person over you, and you would do anything. You value that person over you. So let me share this with you guys before we leave, right? There was a question asked. And I asked, who do you think is supposed to maintain and sustain a relationship? A lady came and said a woman's supposed to maintain and sustain a relationship. So I said, how? When this man come to you and asks you to come and help him. All right? He must have a plan, right? Present his plans to you, and you guys work together. He asks you what your plan is, and you guys can work together to implement it. Now you come in his life. Let's assume you went for or interview. You went to work for a company. The company gave you the job. You're now working for the company. And all of a sudden, you now want to be the manager to take over the company. You won't be the head of the company. You want to take the company over from everybody else. How is it possible? Now, the reason why I'm saying this to say, the reason why a lot of women get hurt in relationship is what I'm trying to lay here. She gets into the relationship, and the moment a woman starts to take on the leadership of the relationship take a different turn. The reason being, she was never made to maintain that relationship. She was never made to sustain the relationship. Now, and one would say, but then what's the essence of a woman being in the life of a man? Let's just make it simple. When God said, it was not good for man to be alone, God was not talking about physical loneliness. So when she said that, I said, okay. So I asked her, I said, when God said it was not good for man to be alone, why do you understand that? She said, God, because it was not good for him to be by himself. So God decided to make a woman. So I said, in order for you to experience loneliness, that means you might have been in the company of other people for you to be able to know it based on the experience. So if they're not there, then you can experience loneliness. But you never been in the company of another human being. So how is it possible for you to say that you were lonely when you don't even know what loneliness is? How can you say that you know it by sex when you're a virgin, you never experienced it? You only heard it, you only read about it, but you have never experienced it. But you say, I know about it. Based on what you read, right? Now, so just look at it, right? Now she gets into the relationship with this guy. She's in the relationship, and God is saying that it was not good for a man to be alone. So I told her, I said, what God really meant, since nobody was there and Adam have never experienced any human being, God was talking about the loneliness of the mind. The loneliness of the mind. Because God have given Adam all the responsibility in the garden. Adam was the one naming the trees. Adam was the one naming the animals. Adam was the one speaking for things to happen. Adam was the one doing everything in the garden. Adam had to work. So God needed for Adam to rest. And the rest he was talking about was the rest of his mind. So he was lonely. So now God said, I'm going to make you or help made suitable for you. That's where the woman came in. I'm trying to lay a premise. Now, a woman came in the life of a man with two attributes that a man needs, and what God equipped her with. But those two attributes that God gave to a woman, most of the time our sisters use it against themselves. So, God gave a woman two things: her feelings and her emotions. Now, the purpose of her feelings and emotions is to help the man disengage himself from that constant battle in his head. So that's the reason why you see a man will say, my wife is my peace. So when he comes home, when he opens the door, she creates the environment with her emotions and her feelings. When he gets in her presence, it causes him to disengage himself from that constant fight in his head. That constant fight, because the entire world is actually against him. He fighting him. He trying to be there for his family. He trying to be there for the world. Because everybody is looking up to him. His friends. He got to do things for his friends. He got to do things for his community. Everybody looks up to him. He's fighting this constant battle in his head. Now his woman, God made her to create the environment that will help him to disengage himself from that constant fight so he can be present with himself. So the moment he's around her, he experienced a whole different world. Now, one would argue. So let's just look at it. Look at the mass incarceration. Look at the ratio of the mass incarceration. You'll find 80% will be men. Go back to the bar. If you left from here and went to a nightclub tonight, 80% of the people in the bar is going to be men. Why? They are constantly looking for a place where they can actually distract themselves from that constant battle in his head, in his mind. So when a woman tries to take on the leadership of the relationship, she no longer focuses on what she's supposed to do in the relationship to create that enabling environment for him to stop fighting that constant battle in his head. But instead, when he comes home, he got to fight again. So he never have the time to rest. So the only thing he does, he stays out there in a nightclub. He stays in the bar. He stays at his friend's place. He leaves on Saturday. He goes and it's kind of hard for him to come home because he doesn't find peace at home. There's no peace at home. So he will prefer staying in the nightclub, coming home when she's already asleep. Whenever she creates that environment, she doesn't understand her power. What she's doing in that moment, she's creating intimacy between she and him. When she creates that environment, she now creates the trust. She now creates the communication. Her feelings now create the emotional connection. It creates the physical emotions. It creates the spiritual emotions. Just from the things that she created with him. Now, if they were to have sex, they're now going to have sexual intimacy, love making. That's her power. But most of the time, women get into relationship and relinquish the power. All because they're looking for something which of course they already have. The true love. And I said it here before, there's no such thing as true love outside of you. True love does not exist outside of you. Where did you go? You were over here. You need to come back. Where did you go? True love does not exist outside of you. You are true love. They loved you running around for a while. That you have been through relationship with. It no one else other than you. All the sacrifice you have made for this true love. And you continue to make. You did not even stop to understand. Now I'm telling you, all the sacrifices that you made, it was for nothing. Because you never experienced it. True love does not exist in nobody else other than you. Because you are true love, you are able to experience true love and share true love with someone else. You are the true definition of true love. Until you can get to understand you, until you can understand the power of self-love, you will never understand the power of true love. Because true love is not in the arms of your husband. You will never find it in the arms of your husband. True love is not in the arms of your wife. It's not in the face of your kids. It's not with your mother. It's with you. Everything that love is made of, you are made of love. Everything that you do is of love. Everything you do, the way you interact with people, the way you treat other people, the way you talk to other people, your emotional intelligence, the way you carry yourself with people, the way you kind to other people, that's love. That's love. The reason why when someone comes and tell you that they love you, Why do you think it's something that you can connect with? Because they are speaking to something that is inside of you. When somebody comes to you and tell you, say, I'm in love with you, you are able to connect with it. Where is it coming from? It's coming deep from inside of you, because that's who you are. Love is nothing different from you. If people grab this concept and understanding that they are loved and getting into a relationship understanding they are loved, 90% of the people that go through relationship will never leave relationship with heartbreak. They will never walk from relationship and telling themselves that someone broke their heart. They will never leave relationship with grudge and animosity. So for my partner guests, you guys make your contribution on that. The panelist.
Maz, you going first?
Maz.
No, y'all go first.
Okay. Okay, trying to put the kids to sleep. Yeah. Okay, you guys, you want to go? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bishop, you see, too often we all saying the same thing in different scenarios. Too often we look long in people for love when the love is in us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the love is within you.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you give it out. It's what you give out. And sometimes it's where you go searching. Especially when we face it to relationship wise, you have to first of all have a plan and purpose for your life.
Mm-hmm.
How you want your life to go. What kind of partner you're searching for. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we just go into a relationship in the name of, I just want somebody to love me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I just want somebody to love me.
I don't even know what that even means.
Yeah, you hear a lot of people say that I'm really looking for somebody who will love me, somebody who will do this, somebody who will do that. The list goes on and on and on and on. Or about somebody what will do, but what do you do for yourself? What are those plans you have for your life? This is my plan. This is where I would love to see myself in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years. This is the kind of partner I look forward to coming to join me. Like, for me, I'm a Christian, so a lot of time, my first thing is I hope that let my partner put God first.
Mm-hmm.
Because they say the fear of God is the beginning of
wisdom. Yeah.
Yes. So a man who fears God and put God first will respect his home, will respect his family, will respect his wife and kids and everything and the people around him. And then all the other discipline. There are a lot of things that you also have to work on first. Like you have to have your plan. You also have to set up your life, your love life. What's your love language? How do you relate to people? How often do you tell somebody, I loved you, or I appreciate you, or I admire the way you do this, the way you do that? How you carry yourself. That people, the moment you enter a room, the room lights up. People are excited to see you. People are excited to hear from you. People love to have you around because what? The energy you give out. Someone who loves themselves and take care of themselves internally will be able to spread that love out, and that's how people will be able to take you and reciprocate the love back. Mm-hmm. But if you're already within, you're not happy with yourself, you're never satisfied with the way your body looks, you're never satisfied with your outfit, you're never satisfied with your hair, no matter how much hair you put on, or the makeup, or the clothes you wearing. You might be wearing the best or most expensive clothes. You're never satisfied. Oh man, why is my dress twisted this way? Or why is my, sorry for the background, my baby trying to clean on my miss a little bit. Yes. Oh, my hair, she didn't braid my hair this side, twisted. You never satisfied. How do you expect people to love you in return? That's why you hear some people say, this person is too hard to love. Like everything, you're not satisfied with it. You don't love yourself. You have to love yourself first. And it comes from within. You have to be happy with what you have, how you look like, and the kind of love you pour out, and that's what's going to come back to you, because we attract how we feel and think and how we act. It's the same kind of energy we get back. Yeah. So for me, I would say, like, you always have to take care of you first. You always have to have a plan. How? Because somebody coming in, you don't expect everything to come out of that person.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you should already have it within you.
Exactly.
And that person coming to see you will know that, oh yes, okay, this is what I've been looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So I can deal with this. And like you said, men go out there, they go to the bar, they go to friends' house, places they prefer being everywhere else except their home.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it comes from us women. The men come to, oh, you late. Hey, I've been calling you. You know what the person been having out there. Maybe on the way they had a break. Maybe they were stuck in traffic. Maybe the phone fell. Maybe somebody hit his car. Maybe he ran in an argument with somebody. You don't know what the person had outside. And they came home late. How was your day? How did everything go?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was trying to check up on you, but couldn't get you. Is everything okay? How you feeling? Take the bag. Just sit down. Have the little conversation. Get to know what went wrong outside. Like, how was his day spent?
Exactly. Treat him the way you want to be treated. How I say, everybody you get into a relationship, you will have to become that relationship that you want. You will have to become that relationship. That's all it is. You become the relationship, so you can be able to share with the person that you're in relationship with, because they can see it.
Yes. Yeah, because sometimes we miss out. That person had a terrible day. You don't know. You just home sitting, probably not doing anything but waiting just for them to, as soon as they put the phone in your hand, your start will fight. Yes. So the next day that man goes out, he goes out angry. He's not going to come back. You mind the next time he's coming back will even be 2 hours later than the previous night. Or because he won't make sure he fall asleep so that he don't come to your whining.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's another thing that's a turn off. Whining, we see that in friendship. Yeah, some friends, they will whine, complain. Like, stop the complaining. Stop complaining. Love on yourself a little more. Appreciate yourself. You're doing well. You're doing our job. You're going to work sometimes, even though it's not okay. You say, Lord, I'm thanking you for today. I know, even though yesterday was challenging, I hope that today be better. Yes. Appreciate the little things. Yes. The moment you start to cheer up, start to be more appreciative, before you realize that things start to come out positive. Because sometimes they're right there, but we too focus on complaining. Like, once upon a time, I had an experience with this person, and we were talking, and then they started to complain. You know, hey, you're talking about us going on our place, but you know the parking space and this, and I went like, oh, why are you complaining? Do you know that somebody somewhere don't have a car? And you are complaining, you already have a car, you just need to pay for parking space. Oh, what you mean? I said, no, sometimes those little things, they're not worth the complaint. Yes. Be grateful that you even have a car, that you can pay for space. Somebody don't have a car.
Rebecca, let me say something before I lose my train of thought. You said something so important. No, I read it to tap into something you were saying. You were talking about, individual complaining and things like that. One thing, I remember a friend of mine early in my marriage said to me, and I'm not even going to lie, well, one of those people, I am moving from another state. I am moving with my husband, and we're learning how to live together now and how to communicate, because we courted each other. So, my children say won't go to bed, yeah, sorry. But we supported each other. So one of the things that we were working on was communication, and one of the greatest advice she gave to me was like the 80-20 rule. She said, let that man do what he's great at and focus on what you're great at for your home to be happy. And it sounds cliche, but it was the best advice that I got. I focused on my great strength And what he was great at was it. For example, my husband works hard. He does a lot of things. He's not I'm sitting home, I'm going to clean, I'm going to do this. He does his best to help as much as he can, but that's not his thing. But if I were to make a grocery list and I was to, hey, go here, go do that, he is great at that. He will pick up everything we need. He will get up early Saturday morning, do all the runs, make sure he got all that stuff, got our cars clean, fill up our gas thing. Like, he was doing his part. And I had to sit back and say, but the man is doing what he knows how to do. And if I know how to do these things, I should. And that was one of the greatest gifts that was given. So I think when we're in relationship, focus on your strength and let the other person focus on their strength. It's so important. But when you complain, you take away the enjoyment of the relationship. You take away the person challenging you to be your best self. You start seeing the negative and the positive. Even when they do one little thing, you even able to give them credit. Like, even when my husband take out the trash, I'm like, oh, babe, thank you for taking out the trash. And not that I need to say thank you, because of course he's in the house. As a man, that's his responsibility, most women would say. But when I cook, he says thank you. When I do stuff with the kids, he comes home, he says thank you.
Because she started it, exactly, because she created that.
So if he can say thank you for those things, then why can't I tell him thank you for taking out the trash? Or, oh, thank you for filling up my gas tank. Or thank you for washing my car. So I think it all depends on what you put into your relationship is what you're going to get out. I think setting goals in the beginning, what your expectations look like, what are your boundaries, talk about those things. It's important to communicate your expectations to your partner. If they're doing something and you know this is new to you or you don't like it, communicate those things. And if you're not seeing changes, seek help. And if it's not working out, then leave. Then it's not for you. But do what is necessary within that space or that time frame. I think it's important to be more encouraging in the relationship than to be discouraging in terms of how we communicate. The little things goes a long way. You know, spend time, intimate time with your partner. Like for me, I like romantic movies. My husband do not like romantic movies, but he will sit through it. Maybe he will watch 1 or 2 every month. That's the most I can get. But I also, when I lay in bed, I'm ready to go to sleep, he'll put one of his crazy movies on. You want to watch a movie? Sometimes I don't, but that's what he wants to do with me. So I open my eyes and I'm like, hey, babe, I'm laying here on you. If I fall asleep, know that I tried. And he'd be like, oh, cool. At least you trying. So it's just the little thing. It's the little thing. So I just wanted to say that.
Yes, and yes, Martha, you make so much point. The same thing. Like, appreciate the person. Thank you. Oh, I'm proud of you. Oh, baby, you're doing so well. I'm so proud of you. And especially in this America, I don't know where women came from and think that there's the thing about trash is written on the men's name, that, oh, the man's supposed to take the trash up. If he's good at that, okay, fine. Thank you. You're proud of him that he did that. But there's nowhere I see it written that, oh, it's attached to the man's name.
Exactly.
Or the cutting of the grass is attached to the man. Is that where his strength lies? Good. But if he's that good in that area, leave him alone. There are other places that he's good at. There are some men that are good at providing the finances for everything.
Yep. That's my husband.
Do you need somebody to cut the grass? Okay, I will get that. Do you need somebody to do this? Okay, I will get that. There are some men, they're good at doing everything at home. Yep. Make sure the house is clean. Make sure that the dishes clean. Make sure food is ready. Make sure grocery, everything in time. And some men are good with laundry. A friend of mine told me, she said, I can't tell the last time I did laundry. I said, girl, go and buy my in-law something special. She started laughing at me. I said, give that man a gift.
Yeah, because laundry
you don't do laundry because I know what it's like when it comes to laundry. I know good.
Laundry, for us who come from a big family, laundry is not easy. I'm the laundry person in this house. Maybe every now and then he will fold it. If I'm really busy, he'll fold them. But he would say, babe, where do you put this again? And then I will come back and take all the folded clothes and put them away. But at least they're folded. It makes it easier for me to go put them away than for me to stay there and fold it. So it's like, do your part and the person will do the part.
And the person will do that. But and do you know that those little things causing divorce around here?
Of course.
The little things.
Of course. And then you don't want your partner to not be talking to you. Like, for example, my husband just got a new contract with some people who he has his full-time job, but he was so excited about this contract. So he works from home. So he kept coming upstairs. Babe, the people email me. I'm waiting. He was so anxious, but he works from home, and I'm his friend that he talked to. So I remember him walking back downstairs, and I just smiled. I was like, it's so good to have your partner, having something on their mind. They can come to you, babe. I think that people, like just communicating with you and making you first to know something than their friend or someone outside. It just shows that you're in a not perfect place, but a healthy space, right? Because you always want to be in a healthy space with your partner. It's so important that you're in that space. And I remember when he finally got the last email today that he finally got the contract he was waiting for, we were both so happy. He was like, yeah, now you can take that vacation you want. Not that I'm going to take no vacation right now. I'm not in a position to, but it's good to know he's throwing those things out there. I think relationship have to do with friendship. If you are friends with your partner, you can have conversation where y'all can just joke and laugh and play around. It really helps your love grow, because one thing I've learned, love will always be there, but being in love is not always true, because there's time you go through seasons in your relationship. You really do, but your friendship can hold you up. And that friendship is what keeps love growing. I know this, and so it's important to be your partner's friend. Be your partner's friend. Stop criticizing. Don't want to be your friend. You like everything about them. As soon as they became your person out there, you want to change everything around. It doesn't work that way.
Okay, let me read this stuff from Angela. Angela said the energy and the light that we carry determines what you attract. Please love yourself first. Let me read all the other comments here. Right, and something that you just said, Maz. You talk about friendship. There is no love without friendship. Friendship is love. Because the thing we need to understand here, everything that we do as a human being, it comes from within us. If you get to a place and say that this person is your friend, you can share everything with that person. Your friend, you can be able to respect them. You can trust them. That's love. Because love is nothing outside of you. So if you got a good friendship with that person, you still sharing your love with that person. Because you guys have a healthy space where you guys can be able to communicate with each other. That's the whole essence of intimacy. People just think when you talk about intimacy, people only look at it from the sexual aspect. But intimacy is way, way, way far off from intimacy. We had a conversation the other night. Is there a difference between sex and intimacy? That's a big difference between sex and intimacy. But now, you can now connect the both of them if you have sexual intimacy. So you got sexual intimacy, you got physical intimacy, you got emotional intimacy, you got spiritual intimacy. And the whole essence of that intimacy is to bring you guys closer. Intimacy is trust. Intimacy is understanding. The intimacy is communication. When you guys have that. But because a lot of us have a whole different understanding of what we think intimacy is, so when we get into a relationship, when it comes to intimacy, it only leads to sex. And when it leads to sex, then something is missing, the intimacy. Because a lot of us have sex without intimacy. A lot of us. And another thing too we need to have a conversation about. People having sex in the absence of intimacy. That's the reason why a lot of us having these issues in our relationship that leads to a lot of cheating in the relationship, because one person is not satisfied. And the next person is just only doing it to satisfy their own sexual desire. So in having, like for example, I just using the situation like the guy got that contract and whatsoever. Now you guys got something to celebrate. That celebration is going to involve intimacy in there. Because everything from the beginning of that contract that led to him getting the contract, you guys were building that intimacy. He was communicating with you. You were understanding. And every time he talked to you, it made you feel a certain type of way that you imagine he putting you into everything that he's doing. Now you are able to express it. That intimacy. He created the environment for you to feel that you are special in his life. He didn't get on the phone to call his homeboys. He didn't get on the phone to call his mom or his dad or whoever. He was able to share with you every walk of the way. That's the intimacy in the relationship we're talking about. But most relationship is being disconnected. There is no intimacy in our relationships. No intimacy. There's no time for it. Come to talk about the physical intimacy, the emotional intimacy, the spiritual intimacy. We don't even have it in our relationships. Come to talk about sexual intimacy. These are things that are missing and lacking in our relationships. And these things happening in our relationship because of the lack of understanding self-love. Because when you understand self-love, then you understand that everything that you stand for is based out of love. And when you understand that, you will start to treat other people the way you want to be treated. You would treat other people with dignity. You would treat other people with respect. You would treat other people with love. You would treat other people with kindness. Because that's who you are. That's who you are. You'll be mindful with what you say to other people. You would think before you speak. Because you would take the next person's feelings into consideration. You will not just loosely open your mouth and say things to people. You will be mindful of what you say. That's when you come to the understanding of what true love is and what true love represents. Then you realize that everything that you've been looking for, it is right inside of you. So if it's inside of you, then you need to create the environment for you to experience this thing the entire life. Then you create the environment now. So now you become what you want your relationship to be. So now you're not expecting anything because you are your relationship. Because you know now this love that you're looking for is not in your husband, it's inside of you. This love that you're looking for is not in your children, it's inside of you. So now all you can do now is to create the environment to continue sharing that with the people around you. And all you can do is to feel that love. When you come somewhere, you can lighten the room. Your smiles, the radiance on your face, people can experience that. But it got some people, the moment it gets somewhere, and we need to understand, the Bible says from the heart people speaketh. Most of the time you see people behaving the way they're behaving is stemmed from somewhere. From anger, hate, disappointment, lack of self-love, low self-esteem. Because when you find yourself in this environment, you are constantly comparing yourself with other people. You are constantly comparing your life with other people. You're constantly trying to live in other people's world. You never accept yourself. You never have the ability to give yourself grace. You never have the ability to give yourself be patient with yourself. You're not even able to do that. You're constantly beating on yourself. You want to be everybody else other than you. You want to subscribe to everybody else other than you. You want to fit in everybody else's world. And nobody's subscribing to you. Nobody even want to fit in your world. That's what hurt us in relationship a lot. So as I was saying, when a woman gets into the relationship, and anytime a woman decides to take on to the relationship, I can say too, I say here before, I don't care what a woman do. I don't care what she can do. She can cook. She can give the man the best sex. She can do whatever she wants to do. She can have thousands, hundreds of kids. If that man don't want that relationship is not going to work. If he doesn't want that relationship, it's not going to work. So it's not what you do. It's not the sacrifices you make. But you just being you. You being you in the relationship. Give the man the ability to get to a place to tell himself, you know what? Despite of who she is, despite of her talking, despite of her being peaceful, every attribute about you, that he can honestly come to you and tell you, say, look, baby, I'm in love with you. When a man finally tells you that he's in love with you, take it, because it's not something that comes around every day. When he finally tells you he's in love with you, that means every aspect of you, he's in love with it. You're snoring, you're boring, you're everything. He come to a place to accept it. And another thing, as a woman, never lose your place in the life of your husband. Never lose your place in the life of your husband. Never get so complacent. It doesn't matter how many years you guys have been together. It doesn't matter how many children, how many kids you guys have together. Never lose your place in his life. And when we ask, what do you mean by that? A man is a visual creature. He goes after what he sees. There was something about you that attracted him to you. So what you do as a woman, always maintain that place that you will continue to be that attractive woman to him at all time. Don't lose that attraction from you. Always be his peace. Create that peaceful environment that he can be able to be present with himself. He would choose to be home than to be with his friends. He would choose to be home than to be in the bar. He would choose to be with that woman. Most women, they will not understand. They only look at what's happening now. This man don't come home. He stayed with his friend. You ask yourself, what did you do? What is happening? Don't look at the situation now. Go back to what actually led to that. But we actually wired in a way that no matter what's happening, it can never be our fault. It has to be somebody else responsible for what is happening. And to my sisters, the moment you take on the leadership of the relationship, this is what happened. You become unattractive to that man. That's when the competition starts. Now, the moment the woman takes on the leadership of the relationship, something starts to happen. The moment she takes on the leadership of the relationship, the relationship goes in a reverse order. The things that she's supposed to get from the man is what she starts to give to him. She starts to chase after him. The moment a woman starts to chase after a man, that's the beginning of the end of that relationship. Because the more you chase after him, the more he's going to run away from you. And when you continue chasing him, you're going to chase him in the arms of another woman. So if you're a woman, stop chasing your man. Understand your role in his life and be who you are. Use your emotions to create a peaceful environment for him to survive, for him to strive. Use your feelings for him to disengage himself from the war that he constantly fighting in his head. He may not be explaining everything to you, but when you create that enabling environment for him, he will have the ability to explain to you. Because you have created a peaceful place and now he's in tune with himself. And now he can open up to you and have those conversations. Maybe you have been in constant, you've been in other relationships. Don't compare him with the 4 or 5 guys that you ever been with, because he's none of those people. Get to know him for who he is and get to accept him for who he is. Secondly, when a woman takes on the leadership of the relationship, something else happens. She starts to love her husband. Any woman that starts to love her husband is setting herself up for failure. I know it's going to be shocking to a lot of women. The moment a woman starts to love her husband, she's going outside of God's original plan. And when she goes outside the original plan of God, what happens is the man don't know what to do with it. Because he's the one that's supposed to be chasing you. You're chasing him. The moment you start to chase him, he starts running away from you. It's the same way when a woman starts loving a man. When she starts loving a man, the man doesn't know how to deal with it. Because she's giving him something, or she's doing something that he's supposed to be doing. A man don't want none of these things from you. A man doesn't want love from you. He don't want you to love him. Ask any man. No man asks for a woman to love him. No man asks for a woman to love him. Anytime you see a man complaining, he will say his woman doesn't respect him. So respect to a man is a form of love. If you don't respect him, that means you don't love him.
Just want to say something quickly, but that's what the Bible said. A man should love his wife as Christ loved the church, which means that you love her, you protect her how you would protect God, because if your heart is fixed on God, you're able to love her. And we are nurturing, but we should be in a position to respect, because our heart, we carry so much emotions. And I think I agree with what you're saying in terms of the chase. When we guard, the Bible said, guard your heart, right? Mm-hmm. All else flows from it, right? So guarding your heart, and I always say this on my show when we talk about dating, guard your heart until you know that man is in love with you to the point where he wants you, he wants to share so much with you, he wants to build his life around you, and stay in control of that. Because once you start, like you said, getting complacent, oh, I know he loved me now, so I'm just going to be here, and you're not doing anything else, that love fades. Men are, like you said, men are visual. Men like to see things in the physical. Men are one of the people that want to see physical action, want to see things just moving around them. So when you think, okay, now he's in love with you, but he needs you to continue, he needs you to challenge him, he needs you to be on your toes. Like, even in the early stages of me dating, we said this, my husband gonna laugh at this. So I remember we started dating. We went on an amazing date. I flew in and stopped with my auntie who lived in Minnesota here. I stopped with her, and I told her, I said, you know, we're courting. I'm not staying at your place because I don't know where this is going. We are not even at the place yet where we even know if we want to be together or not. So I remember, I came. I had a great date, and I left. And 2 weeks went by. He didn't hear from me. He called me, but wait, you just left and you didn't call me. I said, what happened to your phone? You were the one pursuing. You're the man. Pursue me. And then I would know that you're interested. I said, I'm not doing nothing, but I was waiting on your call. I'm not going to call you 10, 12 times. That's what you were waiting for? I'm sorry. I have other things going on with my life. And I think I was full-time in school at the time. I was trying to get myself together. So my mindset was not even, can't call it me and just be on the phone. No. So I remember when he realized that, okay, this girl she's doing this thing differently. And I said, no, you're going to earn your scraps, which means you're going to work hard, you're going to earn it, and I'm going to earn your scraps. I'm going to earn it, and you're going to do. We're both going to work towards it. And then we're going to make up our mind if we're even on the same page in the same direction. And then I'm going to pray for God to confirm to me if you're even the person I need to be with. And I'm so grateful I followed those steps in direction that God gave me, and he downloaded in my spirit to follow, because today we wouldn't be going on 9 years together, but here we are still by the grace of God, not him or me, but by the grace of God, we're still here thriving in a healthy space and making it work. Why? Because we both want to make it work, and we are both challenging each other. A man loves a woman who is going to stimulate his mind all the time. When he comes to you with his dream, instead of saying, oh, that stuff's not going to work, what's this? Tell him, I'd rather you try and make it or try and fail than for you not to try at all. You know how many ideas my husband will come to me with, like, babe, I think I'm going to try this. I said, go ahead. Where are you pulling it from? Our emergency phone? our saving fund, in our children money, where it count. We need to know so we're on the same page with our budget. Where are we cutting back from? What kind of communication we're having? Because all the things you want to do are going to cost. How is it taking from my mouth, my children's mouth, and your mouth? We need to know. So I think it really, truly based on how you date. You know, some women really don't know how to date. Even men, let's just be honest, they don't know how to date. Some men, you could have everything going for yourself and all the right things, but because they're not healed and they're not where they need to be, they come and they bring brokenness to the women too. They really do.
But then the thing is that in this instant, that's the reason why the topic is here tonight. Because if you have a man who is broken, and you a woman understanding your purpose, understanding your value, understanding your role in his life, he must have a plan. So a broken man doesn't have a plan, you're not going to be in a relationship with him. You are able to tell him, look, that's part of how I feel about you. I think this is not right for me. And I don't think we're supposed to be together. You have the ability to walk out and step out of that relationship. Because you want to protect your mental sanity. You're not going to stay in a relationship. And a lot of us know some of the people we're in relationship with, we know we shouldn't even be in relationship with them. But because we don't even know who we are, so we don't know what we want. So we will allow ourselves to go through all these situations until it reaches to a place where we can no longer take it, or we have made ourselves selfless and we have given up everything. And when we finally walk out of that relationship, we drain and depleted. And the only thing we're left with anger, hate, and disappointment.
Ooh, that's a whole word. Yep, it's so true.
And a lot of time we think we can change the person.
Ooh, that's the big one.
Yes.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's actually other ignorance that we will get into a relationship thinking that you have the ability to change. Nobody have the ability to change nobody. The only thing that changes people is situation and environment. That person will have to tell themselves that I want to do this. Okay? That's why I tell people that you see someone get into a relationship and instead of making changes for that person. Anybody who tell you to making changes for you, you need to be very careful. Because whatever they're doing is just going to be temporary. It's not them. They're only doing it to please you for that moment. The only way that change can be genuine when that person have to look within themselves and say, whatever I'm doing is not right for me. It shouldn't be right for them in order for them to make the changes. But if they're just going to make adjustments for you, it won't be long when that person go right back to the same old thing. So the only thing you can do is to get to understand them for who they are. And one of the things that I tried to establish in my relationship, and I hope a lot of people can actually pick it up because it worked for me. One thing that I do, I actually set the ground rules for any relationship I find myself in. The first thing in a relationship, we don't argue. There shouldn't be any room for argument. We can have a conversation. We can have a dialogue. I want you to understand you're not my enemy. And when we're having a conversation, it's not about who right and who win. No, that's not what it is. Right and wrong. That's not it. Your opinion has to be respected, and my opinion have to be respected. One thing in a relationship, we should never dismiss each other's feelings and opinion. No. If whatever you have to say, I should be able to respect it and respect it from wherever it's coming from. I may disagree with what you're saying or you beg to differ, but I'm not going to dismiss it. Secondly, in our relationship, when it comes to having conversation, we should always be patient with the next person. It doesn't matter whatever it is we say or whatever that person is saying. Even that person is saying something and you know within yourself is not right. Don't cut them off. Don't interrupt them. Allow that person to say whatever they have to say. When they get done, you can now tell and say, hey, babe, you said this, but it did not go down well with me. And if your partner tells you that whatever you say to them or whatever you said to them did not make them to feel okay, your duty is not to justify because of how they feel. Always respect the feelings. If she told me, say, Rodney, what you said to me, I don't like it. My duty is not to justify because that's how she feel. I can tell her the way she feels is wrong. No. My duty is to be like, sweetheart, no matter how you feel, I'm sorry about it. It was never intentional. But if whatever I said to you, you feel hurt, I'm sorry. It's done with it. That conversation is over. Unresolved issues is what continue to affect our relationship. And most men believe that when there is some confusion in a relationship, you can creep your way into that woman and have sex with her and thinking that that problem is resolved. Sex does not resolve anything. Sex does not resolve anything. Because you realize when that happened, you only having sex with her.
Right.
You're not making love to her. You're not making love to her. Because if you're only having sex with her, then something is missing. She's not there. There's no intimacy being created. So she's not there emotionally. She's not there. She's only there physically. But spiritually, she's not there. So that bonding is not happening because she's not there.
Because women are emotional. Women use emotion to do everything. And when our emotions mean something, when I'm angry with my husband, forget it. My emotions is shut down. I'm just like, so I was going to say this when you were saying something. Another thing that is very important is that it happened to me once in my marriage, and thank you, Jesus, it hasn't happened again. I pray it never happened. I got in an argument with my husband, and I was upset. He was upset, and he decided to sleep in the living room. Lord, I lost it. And for me, it was like the ultimate disrespect, because I pride myself in our healthy space. I pride myself in let's communicate. Even when you're upset, lay down, but at least you lay next to me. Don't leave me hanging. I've been in a situation that weren't so nice or abusive, that weren't nice, and that's a trigger for me. And as a partner, you should hear it. And I think when he heard the word trigger, it was like, okay, even if I'm upset, I can lay next to my wife, and it helped us. And I think laying next to each other is not bad, or because for me, I'm a cuddler. I like to cuddle, and maybe I will cuddle for a little bit, then I want my space again to really sleep. So it helps me sleep when I'm able to do those things with him. So I'm like, please, I don't care how upset you are with me, don't leave this room. Don't go on the couch. Don't do that. Because what you're doing in that moment, it might be something simple to you, and for you, it might be like,
it's a disconnect. You're creating that disconnect in the relationship. Yes.
Mm-hmm. But you're rejecting me. You're showing me rejection in that moment. And if you're rejecting me, then who's protecting me? And I think when I worded it that way, he received it. He was like, yeah, I get it, babe. I don't ever want you to feel rejected, and I don't ever want you to feel like you are less than that, And that's why it's important, women, when you're going through stuff in your relationship, open your mouth and speak up. Sometimes a man don't know how to protect you or take care of you or love you when you are not dealing with things that you haven't healed from. Have an open dialogue is important. It really changes the outcome of your relationship when you show vulnerability. But don't show it because you want sympathy. Show it because
exactly. You actually want that genuine understanding from your partner. You're coming from a place of genuine understanding. You're not only doing it because you're looking for sympathy, because that sympathy is just going to be temporary. And colorful flower, welcome to the podcast. Make your contribution, please. So we're talking about understanding the power of self-love. So make your contribution to that.
The power of self-love. I think that we should be able to love ourselves and take care of ourselves before we love other people. Don't depend on other people to love you so much. Love yourself. Then you can be able to love other people the right way. But if you don't love yourself, it can be really hard for other people to even love you, because you're going to be insecure. You're going to be, always doubting. But when you love yourself, there's a assurance that comes with that. And, and you can be able to let people love you the right way. So that's why I think.
No, you're right. You just nail it. You 100% correct. Because the whole thing about love is you. So if love is you, then you have to be able, because the thing is that, so let's go back to the Bible. God said, love your neighbors as you love yourself. So the love of God was talking about, where was it coming from? God could have just said, love your neighbors. But he said, love your neighbors as you love yourself. That means you, because if you have the love for you, now you're able to love someone else. And now the thing is that with the love, a lot of people don't understand it. So people think that love is something you're supposed to give. Love was never meant for you to give it. Because whenever you give something, there's an expectation of receiving something. Whenever you share something, there is no expectation because it's coming from a place of abundance. That's the reason why it is important for you to understand what self-love is. So when you're honestly able to love yourself, then you have the ability to tell yourself that this love that I have for myself, that I come to an understanding of what it is, I now have the ability to share it with another human being. So you're not giving it, you're not falling into it, you're not falling out of it, but you're at a place of consciousness that you now find another human being that you can now experience. That experience that you have, you can now share that experience with them. So you are able to create that safe space. You are able to create that peace inside of you and share it with them. You can now create the environment that when they step in there, they can experience what you experience inside of you. Because all you're doing with this love is sharing you with them. So everything that you do, the air that you breathe is love. Everything about you as a human being is love. People that you see are so mean and disrespectful. They allow hate, because I want you to understand, hate is not far from love. Hate is not far from love. So because of hate and anger and animosity, what it does is that love is still there. Love is sitting right there. But they allowed that or hurt to supersede the ability to love. That's when we talk about the emotional intelligence, coming to the place to understand that no matter whatever it happened, whatever happened in the relationship, it happened. And I need to be able to give myself some grace. I need to be able to be patient with myself. I need to learn to involve. You know what I'm saying? And I have to tell people, you can love someone. You can love your husband. You can love your kids. You can love your family without hurting yourself. Without hurting yourself. You don't have to hurt yourself to love other people. You don't have to. And that's what a lot of us do. You don't have to make the ultimate sacrifice to show that you love someone. No. Anything that you have to go to the extreme, that means it's not love. If you have to prove to someone that you love them, then you don't love them.
Right.
You don't have to prove nothing to nobody, because love is you. Everything that you do, the way you move, the way you breathe, the way you talk, is love. The way you treat other people, the way you are able to compliment other people. You can see someone, you can see a woman, and your friend woman, you can see her and she's wearing a nice slippers. You are able to compliment her. You are sharing your love with her. You see a woman, she got a nice dress. You were able to tell her, girl, you look nice in that dress. You were able to share that with you. You're not feeling intimidated by it. You were able to share what you have with you, inside of you, without another human being.
And that's the problem with a lot of us, you know. We, for some reason nowadays in the world, it's so hard for us to show love to other people. And, you know, and it's kind of sad, you know, because when you love yourself, like you said, it's not hard for you to love other people and compliment them and be happy for them. And, you know, genuinely happy for them and be nice to people, be kind to people. But, you know, a lot of us nowadays, we don't love ourselves. And so it's very hard for us to love other people genuinely. We always feel like we have to go above and beyond to do things to prove to people that we love them, when that's not even the case.
I agree.
You know, and
I agree.
That's destroying.
Mm-hmm. And it's what hurt a lot of us. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what's hurting us. Yeah.
And that's what actually leads to the transactional love. Because I'm doing this and I'm expecting this. Anything that you do out of the extreme, you're expecting something in return. Because this love was never meant for you to go to the extreme for nothing. Nothing. Because love is just you. Just the way you love yourself. The way you take care of yourself. The way you value yourself. That love. That's just it. Nothing more. Nothing magical than yourself. The way you carry yourself. The way you respect yourself. The way you treat yourself. How you treat other people. That's just what love is. It's nothing outside of you. Love is never in Europe that you have to go to the shrine to invite it to you. No, love is you. So if love is you, then you need to focus that attention on you. But too many a times, people get into a relationship, like I talked about, a woman coming into the relationship and thinking that they're supposed to maintain and sustain the relationship, so they take on the leadership of the relationship. And when they start to take on to the leadership of the relationship, they want things to work the way they want to work, basing on their emotions and feelings. So they bring the emotion and feelings in it. So when they bring the emotion and feelings in it, that man is already out. So she wants that man to come back. So what she would do, she would start loving him, thinking when she loved him, he will come back into that. And the moment she loved him, he runs away. She starts to chase him. The more she chases him, the more he runs away.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, your duty, and let me just say, I know a lot of women would take it, anyway, let me just say it. The role of a woman in the life of a man is just simple. A woman today, just grab this concept. Your role in the life of a man is simple. The role of you in the life of a man is to focus on you. And one will ask, why are you saying this? The man saw you. There was something about you that brought him to you, right?
Right.
There's something about you that attracted his attention to you. Right?
Right.
Something he saw in you. So you need to always maintain what he saw in you. So if you now focus your energy towards you, do you think you will be going through all this sacrifice and trying to make things work? No. The only thing you would do is to get into the relationship and be you. As long as you are you, the relationship move forward. Because he's the one that's supposed to maintain that relationship, because he brought you in the relationship. But when you start to do all the other things that you're expecting, then you now forget about the relationship. You forget about yourself. Because the moment you get into the relationship and start to take on the leadership of the relationship, then you start to make yourself unattractive to him, because you're no longer playing your role in his life as the woman. You're not the woman that is attracted to him anymore. That's the reason why you see most of the time a man will leave and go outside, because you're no longer attracted to him. He's going to chase after something else, because you have made yourself unattractive by trying to take on the relationship. And now he just sit back and look at you. But when you get into the relationship and focus your energy towards you, when your energy is towards you, you're not going to focus your energy on him. Because when you get yourself in a relationship, then your priorities shift from you to him. And when your priorities shift from him, from you to him, then you start to expect so much for him, which of course you're not going to get. That's when assumptions start to take place. You start to assume why he's not coming home, why he's not doing this, why he's not doing this one, why he's not doing this one. You taking on stuff that you should not take on. Secondly, you start chasing him. You start loving him. And when all these things are not working, then it starts now. You take away something from him. Which would you supposed to get to him? Now you're expecting him to respect you because you love him. Now that where the disrespect come from? Because you have made yourself and you depleted yourself. And so the only thing you're left with anger and rage. And now you become very disrespectful. You start raising your voice to him. You start making your home uncomfortable for him. Women need to understand. That's when you get to understand whether this relationship is supposed to lead to marriage. Take your feelings, take your emotion out of it. Get to love you, because loving you will make you to understand what true love is. True love is consciousness. True love is not that feeling that you feel. No. True love is consciousness. True love is awareness. True love is understanding. You understand what you're getting into. You are aware of what you're getting into.
And you were saying something I was just going to add to it. You were talking about men bringing women into relationship, and I think some of the problem here nowadays, women are not allowing for men to bring them into relationship. They are bringing the man into what they perceive as relationship. And that's why we're having a lot of problems too. And a lot of people are not staying long in relationship, and relationship are not working because nowadays the women are not letting the men to, chase them and you know what I'm saying, go for them. they are doing the hunting and they are going getting men. Huh?
Shooting at sharks.
Yes. Women are not waiting for men to approach them anymore. They are going after men and they are chasing after men. And sometimes, most of the time, the men don't even want them, but they will do things for these men to want them. And then when it doesn't work, they cry.
Desperation.
And they are disappointed.
Desperation.
Yes.
Like the other day we had a podcast, and I was talking about the difference between, is there a difference between helping someone and supporting someone? And a lady came and said, there's no difference. And I stated here, any woman, I'm not saying I stand to be corrected, I'm saying it to you. Any woman that supports a man is setting herself up for failure. And the reason why some women will have issues with that, because they themselves doing the same thing. Any woman that supports a man is setting yourself up for failure. And the reason why I'm saying this, a man, the way God made a man, and God never made mistake. A man is a provider. Okay?
Right.
Don't get me wrong. You can help your husband.
Right.
You can help your boyfriend.
Right.
But you cannot support him.
Right.
Helping someone is temporary.
Right.
Okay, so for example, your husband lost a job. You were able to say, I'm going to take care of the bills for the next 1 or 2 months.
Right.
That's help. He get back on his feet. Supporting is for a long period of time.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Where you have to go and get 2 jobs.
Right.
2 jobs. Just because you want to keep up, because you got to be able to put money, take care of him. He's not your child. I want you to understand.
Right.
He's a grown-ass man and he has his mother. That's his mother's job to take care of him. It's not your job. Women need to grab the concept, but some women do these things out of desperation. That's the reason why when you don't understand, and you don't understand the value of self-love, is when you go to the extreme. You would do things for external validation. You would do things because you want to prove to your community that you're not left alone. You refuse to be single. And a lot of women don't really understand the whole essence of being single. Single is a very good place to be. I told a woman that you can even be married and still be single. Single means you've put yourself in a conscious place where you can now come back to you. Because when you're there, you're so much focused on doing this and doing that until you even forget about yourself. So you come back to yourself and say, no, I'm actually going on track. I need to put myself together. That means that you wake up on Saturday morning, you're not going to go with your hair the way it is. You got some women, I mean no disrespect. The hair. Right. Do your hair. Why would you allow your hair to be smelling? Why that one lappa that you got on Saturday, you take the one lappa and you just tie it on you. You get so complacent. I mean, do something. You got to be able to put yourself. Remember, you're not the only person. I was reading a statistic. And they said that just few more years from now, 10 more years from now. No, they said 5 more years from now. 5 more years from now, your husband will be in extreme trouble. Women, I'm saying it to you today. 5 more years from now, just 5 more years from now, your husbands will be in trouble, because the Bible said some women will only go behind a man just for his name. It's coming. So you need to understand that you're not the only person. Just the way you are there with that man, they got thousands of women, even your own friends, wish that they had that man that you have. So you better do everything that you can. I'm not trying to put a man on a high pedestal. That's not what I'm saying. But instead of you using your energy and your feelings to create the environment that he will feel comfortable around you and make his home a place that he's supposed to be, you're pushing him out there with your mouth. The Bible said a woman uses her mouth to build a house. And she also uses her mouth to tear it down. That's the power a woman have. So use it. Use your mouth for things that will benefit you. Don't use your mouth against yourself. Don't use your mouth to curse yourself. Use your mouth to spew out love. Create an enabling environment that he feel peaceful around him. When he around you, he have the ability to experience a whole different world. He have the ability to disengage himself from the world and be in present and be in tune with himself in your presence. That what you are in his life. I know a lot of women won't say that, but that's exactly what God made you for.
That's true.
God made you for that purpose. Be his peace. Be his peace. Instead of you fighting, be his peace. Know when to speak. Know when to, treat him the way you want. That relationship that you have created in your mind. Become that relationship. And act that relationship and see how it will work. But I bet you a lot of us can't even date ourselves. You won't able to even date yourself. So relationship is not difficult. Relationship doesn't mean you should go to the extreme. Relationship just means you're supposed to be you. Just be you. You don't have to prove nothing to nobody. Just be you. Get into that relationship. Understand what you want. Understand your purpose. Explain your purpose to your husband. Explain your dream to your husband. He explain his dream, and the both of you guys come to an understanding of how you guys can implement your dreams. That's all it is. Because you fussing, you fighting, he can't even have a conversation with you. You're so defensive. You drag your past experiences into your present relationship. You compare him with all the 5-6 boyfriend that you have. You realize now you walk out of that relationship because you can never find what you're looking for. Because you compare him with all the other men you ever slept with. Same thing with men.
But let's talk about not even allowing our past relationship to have a place in our current relationship. That means you're not even healed when you start
exactly.
talking about
No, but the thing is that too, Maj, the thing that you will have to understand one thing too, and we will have to be able to create that environment for ourselves. That's the consciousness of it. Because the way our mind is built, our mind is built to protect us. So let's assume, if for example, you came on this platform and I was being adversary to you, all right? Now, what happened is that every time we get on this platform and you come on this platform, you'll be very mindful. Yeah. If I say something, your mind will trigger. It will go back to what happened, because what the mind is trying to do is to protect you and be like, you know what? It's the same guy. Be mindful. So it puts you on their light. Now, it's the same thing that happened with us in our relationships. What you need to do is to have the ability to turn yesterday off, because yesterday doesn't have the right to live in today.
Absolutely. I think what I was trying also to get across is that this is a mistake most people make, and I hear a lot of females saying that, not all, but most, like when they get in a relationship or they start a relationship, my ex used to say this and used to do that. I hate that with a passion. I feel like your situation with that person's personality was a different situation compared to somebody else's. And it just goes to show you are not 100% healed, because you're in a new situation, right? You're in a new situation. This is a new individual, different personality. They might have similar personality traits.
Because they are men. Yes, the man over there, he got wet trousers. Exactly.
Whether they're men or not, Bishop, listen. Whether they're men or not, they have different personality. Let's just be all the way honest. But here's the trick. You start to see similar thing in that person, and then you want to label them. Oh, this is how you behave, and this is how you are. But what I'm saying is that you can't do that. You can't come into a new situation and bring the old into it. Even when you see similar things that reminded you of your past, I think it's okay to talk about it without mentioning your ex. Like, hey, I've had similar experience in certain situations, and it seemed like this is still a trigger for me. And then you can explain, and why is a trigger without going in details about how you and that person broke up, or oh, this man did this to you, or this woman did this. Like, when I remember there was a time I went on a date with somebody, oh Lord Jesus, That man talk about his ex so much. I just sat in there. I said, he eat my good food. I said, how the girl did this is this. I said, you can come and explain this girl whole life story. What make you think I even trust you with my own? You know, I don't.
I'm out of here.
Because she's not here. One, you're violating her. Two, vice versa. If I were even talking about somebody in my past, I'm violating her because whether they did something to me or not, that's between me and that person. It's not between you, me, and that person, because you have determined a relationship already by even talking about the person. Like, I already know that when something happened, we wouldn't talk about it. You will call your friends, and everybody will know our business. And I can't take people being in my business. I can't do it. I've been in my relationship with Pierre. I can't remember the last time my mother even heard a complaint about me or my husband, because we said we made that vow early on that our personal business is here.
Yes, exactly.
I hear my friends say, you know, Michael treats you so well. I said, girl, please, we fight behind the scene, but that's nobody's business what I do behind the scene. That's my personal business. And a friend today is not a friend tomorrow. I just don't, that's not my thing. I can only give you so much, but I always say this, if I tell you information and you tell someone, I'm not mad because I exposed the information. So when people be like, you know, the person said you said this, I was like, that's fine, I did say it. Because I'm only sharing with you what I want you to know, not what you think you know. So, you know, you have to be in control of yourself. It goes back to that knowing yourself, you know. So, yeah.
And another thing also, and you know, the same thing with comparing your past to your present. And another thing also, like if you may have had some arguments and you'll talk about it and settle it, the next thing you know, whenever there's a little private bump, you bring back. You always remind the person of that one time they made a mistake, or one time they said something wrong to you, or that one time they wronged you. It's the same thing you did the last time. Oh, the same thing you did the last time. You got to let go. Once you have had that argument, talked about it, and the person apologized, you let it go. Move on to the future. But a lot of times you see people that will always remind the person about the mistake they made, and people get tired of hearing that. Or just because maybe I did something earlier on, okay, I did it, it happened. We talk about it. We decided to let it go. So I feel that once we have decided to let it go, it stays in the past. You can't keep reminding me about something I did in the past, but we stay together. Every time you remind me, every time there's a little mistake, you bring that up. It gets tired. It gets tiring. Like, you can't keep bringing one thing over and over. And they got people like that. They can't stop talking about one mistake you made in the past, but you're still together. You have to choose whether you want to be with that person in the relationship or whether you want to step away. Because you can't keep reminding them about things that you're already settled and move on about. Yeah, so I just wanted to add, because it's the same as talking about your exes and what all they did, because we are human, so definitely we have similarities. We all breathe the same air, we have blood running through our body, the oxygen in and out. So definitely we will always have something in common because we are human.
Okay, now we just have someone that joined us. Mika, just hold on 1 minute. Let me read what we have here on Facebook. We have Agnes Johnson. She said, Proverbs 18:22, who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtain favor of the Lord, not she who finds a man. So she's trying to say that a man's supposed to go out to look for her and not the other way around. She also say you are saying the truth. So Mika, go ahead. Thank you, Agnes, for your contribution. Mika, go ahead, make your contribution on the podcast. Mika, unmute yourself and make your contribution, please. Mika? Okay. So let's just go straight into the conversation again. So what happened here, we're talking about tonight, we are talking about understanding the true power of relationship. Okay? Understanding the true power of self-love. That true power of self-love is what we need to understand, because when we understand it, it helps us along the way in getting into relationship.
Oh, she said you have it on show.
Okay, it's on show. What that means?
I think she's being muted.
Okay, I come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on 1 minute. Could not expand. Okay, it's on what? Let me see something. What's going on? Okay, hold up. I think something going on here. Let me see something. No, I can disconnect all guests. Disconnect all guests. What's going on here again? Okay, let me see something. Right. Okay, let's keep talking now. I'll try to get you on. Let me see what she, Mika. Okay, let me see. All right, what's going on here? Okay, let me see. Sorry. You guys can come back, yeah? Because you're asking me to do all that. Live guests, tap guests. Okay, fine. Good. Guys, you guys can just come back on there. Let me bring everybody back. All right, let me bring everybody back. Sorry, guys. I had to do something happened. There you guys back. Okay, Mika, let me bring her back. Please come. Okay, yes. So we're back here, right? Okay, so guys, let's go back. Somebody out? Oh, Mika, let me bring her back. Okay, she here. Okay, yes. So go ahead and let her make a contribution. Welcome to the podcast. We're talking about here tonight, understanding the power of self-love.
Hi. So before I just jump in, can I just listen a little bit more?
Okay.
I hate to talk on a subject and I really don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, now so tonight what we're talking. Okay, what we're talking about here tonight, Miles, you actually want to update her a little bit? Look at Miles sleeping too. Okay, now what we're talking here tonight, we're just talking about the power of self-love. Loving yourself, understanding what self-love is all about. And we said that if you understand what self-love is, then you have a better understanding and you have a better chance to understand your relationship for what your relationship is, because you're not coming into the relationship depending on or that guy or whoever it is. You're not coming into a relationship needing, but you're now coming into a relationship understanding that this love is you. And because it is you, now you have the ability to share with another human being, because it's coming from a place of abundance. And because you have this now and you know it is you, you can now use you now to share you with someone else. So that we're just talking about understanding that power of true love, where you stand with true love, how you understand true love to be. Because a lot of people believe that in order for you to experience true love, you must be in a relationship with a man. In order for you to experience true love, you should be in a relationship with a woman. You should be in the arms of a man, the arms of a woman. And we said, no, you have to be in love with yourself. You have to understand that you are this love. So because you are this love, then you're at a place where you have the ability to share you with another human being. So you're not getting into a relationship giving love, but you're not getting into a relationship sharing love. Because you have the ability to share it, that means you're not willing, or you're not in the space to receive. Because love is not about giving, love is about sharing. Because it is you. Your entire you is this thing. The entire you make up love. So everything that comes out of you should be an expression of love. So the way you treat other people, the way you conversate with other people, the way you carry yourself, the way you interact with other people, the way you treat people at your workplace, the way you treat your kids, the way you talk to your husband, the way you talk to your brothers and sisters, is all form of love. So every day we are living love. Every day we are experiencing love, because we are the one, as we step out of your house today, you go with that grace. You meet people along the way, and the way you interact with them. At your job place, the way you interact with people, that's that love we're talking about. Do we understand what true love is before getting into a relationship? Because when you don't understand what true love is, then you are now expecting to receive this thing from somebody else, when in fact all along this thing that you've been looking for. You've been in numerous relationships. You never experience it. And now you have come to a place to understand that you are this thing that you made all the sacrifices for. So basically, that's just it. I was just trying to recap on that. So I guess you understand that, right? Mika, you understand that? Okay, so now...
I think, Mika, in short, what he's trying to say is, what's your definition of
self-love
or true love, and how can you apply it to the relationship? Nothing in short.
Got it.
Okay.
Because I'm like, you spoke very well. Like, there's nothing more to say.
No, but the thing is that what happened here, this is an interactive conversation. So we want your opinion, the way you think about it. That's all.
Without getting so deep, like I said, it was well said by you. There's not much that I can say.
We just want your opinion on it. Like, we understand that he spoke well and he went in depth and everything, but at the end of the day, what can you contribute towards that? What is your
take on it?
Self-love, and how you think that it can affect your relationship.
Yeah, I think self-love is something that it's only something that you can give to yourself, and it's something that you owe to yourself, and no one else owes that to you. I feel like it's taking the time first to get to know who you are.
Say you on track.
Taking the time to love on yourself by doing the things that make you happy. It's not so much being selfish, but if you can't love on yourself, you're not going to be able to love no one else or receive love from anyone else properly. And I feel like it's very important, even before getting into a relationship. I actually took out time. I took out a long time to, one, get into my word and get into, like, not to be all, extra spiritual and stuff. I'm not going to take it too far because I can. But I just had that one-on-one time with God for him to show me who I am, because he's my creator. He could tell me who I am better than I could tell me who I am. And when I did that, it allowed me to know who I am. It allowed me to love on myself more. It allowed me to see things totally different, and to before I started dating or whatever, I realized that it was much needed. Otherwise, the old me, I would allow people to not treat me how I should be treated, and not love me, but I still love them and respect them. And it was like, once I started loving myself, it was like, you can't treat me like that no more. I know what real love is. I know what real love is about. So I think it's really important for everybody to love on themselves, even before a relationship.
And thank you for your contribution, because you just said it just right. And because of the absence of this, when we get into a relationship, that's the reason why we expect so much from the relationship. That's the reason why we put so much pressure on the next person in the relationship, because we think that we empty, and we're looking for this person to fulfill us, because it's our mentality. Your mentality, you think you're getting into the relationship, and in this relationship is where you're going to experience this true love, this love that you're talking about. And you get to realize that you're in this relationship and it's not happening. So because it's not happening, you now start to create everything that you can create to experience this thing. You start doing that. You start hurting yourself. You start lowering your standard, lowering your values, everything, because you're trying to attract the attention of this man or trying to attract the attention of this woman at the detriment of your happiness, your peace, your joy, your sanity, because you want to experience this thing. Because you have no idea that this thing that you're fighting for, this thing that you're sacrificing yourself for, it is you. The moment you come to realize that you are this love, there's a level of understanding, there's a level of value that you place on yourself. And when you get to a place, you can now love someone and be able to tell this person, say, you know what? I come first. My peace comes first, my happiness. I'm not going to sacrifice it because I want to be in a relationship with you. You were able to excuse yourself from that situation. You are able to walk out of that relationship to protect you because you come first. That's the understanding. That's the essence of understanding what true love is. Because when you come to that consciousness of understanding the essence of true love, then you get to value who you are. That second conversation, you realize that you will never even participate in. Before you reach to that level, you will walk away. It doesn't mean that you're afraid. No. But you're trying to let that person know how valuable you are. That your words from your mouth is so valuable that you're not even going to use that for you to argue with that person. It doesn't mean that you're afraid of them. No. It's just showing to you that you're so mature, that you have the emotional intelligence to walk away from a situation. You know, it's okay. It's all right. That certain people can say certain things to you, you're not even going to respond to them because you value yourself so much. It set that stage for you. It set that standard for you that you're not going to go below that because of the value that you place on yourself. So you're not going to get into a relationship based out of desperation. You're not going to get in a relationship because you need a man in your life. You're not going to get into a relationship because you want a man in your life. I use two words, need and want, because you want a man in your life. I stated here before, everything that you need is inside of you. Everything that you want is what is outside of you. What you need is already in you. What you want is outside of you. So that man is outside of you. That woman is outside of you. Without that woman, you could still be you. Before you got into that relationship, who you were with? Who were responsible to love you? That peace you experienced, that joy. Who was doing it for you? Is your husband was doing it for you, or your wife or your girlfriend and that boyfriend was doing it for you? No. Then how come that you get into a relationship and you're expecting so much from this person? You believe that this person is responsible for your peace. You now believe this person is responsible for your happiness. But anyway, time is actually fast spent. Normally, it's a 1 hour segment, but we're going so far. We start 10 o'clock. It's normally from 10 to 11, but now we're going all the way to 1 o'clock. And if we don't stop, this conversation will continue to go. So I want you guys, every one of you guys, just make your parting comment so we can leave. And if you ever want to be a part of this podcast, we here on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On Facebook, you can find us on Relationship Conversation, Family with Rodney. You can join our page, and whenever we hear you, we get the notification. On here, we don't curtain dress, we don't upgrade, we don't downgrade, we don't tilt our conversations to meet the needs of nobody. We don't chase expulsion, we don't discuss politics, we don't entertain. We just discuss those brainy issues that continue to affect our hearts. What affects you, affect me. So we share our past experiences with each other on this platform. So you got have your closing part and a comment. And we have Agnes here on Facebook. Agnes, you can actually type in, or you can come in here and make your contribution before we go. So make your comments, or my panelists.